Hello everyone. Did you know how old is Canada's oldest retail chain Hudson's Bay? 355 years. To put this into perspective of how old that actually is, Canada, the country itself, is just 158 years old. In fact, the most powerful nation in the world right now, the United States of America, is just 248 years old. So it would be safe to say that Hudson's Bay has outlived world's biggest countries. Yet, after a spectacular 355-year-old legacy, Hudson's Bay is shutting down forever.
The Hudson's Bay Company will begin the process of liquidating the merchandise.
Hudson's Bay is set to begin liquidating its entire business.
This effectively ends a retail empire that dates back to 1670.
The Bay is teetering on the edge of liquidation. So it's time to ask, who killed the Bay?
Now, right off the bat, a lot of people are blaming the poor economic conditions in Canada right now, or the recent tariffs imposed by US President Donald Trump, or even the COVID pandemic for changing the shopping pattern of consumers. But while these are some of the most recent and simultaneous events, there is little to no correlation between these events and the performance of Hudson's Bay. Because if you look at the statistical data from 2012 to 2019, you can see that there is already a downward trend in the revenue of Hudson's Bay from 2016 to 2019, right before the pandemic. So how does a company that literally built Canada's economy, a company that was the heart of Canadians, a company that was not just a departmental store but a place where families shop for schools, Christmas and weddings, end up selling itself so short? Today, we will get into the bottom of the Hudson's Bay saga and really understand what exactly went wrong with the business of Hudson's Bay. Was this really about a retail company who couldn't keep up with consumer needs? Or was it a cold, calculated move to destroy Hudson's Bay's legacy? And lastly, as business students, what are the critical business lessons that we can learn from the story of Hudson's Bay? Now friends, if you've been following the news, a lot of reasons have come up with respect to why did a 355-year-old Hudson's Bay shut its doors. The first reason is changing consumer preferences. Simply put, more people have started shopping online and directly from brand outlets, and fewer people are visiting the retail chains. And Hudson's Bay did not adapt to changing consumer needs.
And at Hudson Bay, nobody will beat us on the internet. Nobody.
The second reason is misalignment of resources. While traditionally retail companies like Walmart invested more and more in expanding their online presence along with retail outlets, Hudson's Bay apparently did not invest any significant money into expanding online. Now, while these reasons are partially responsible for the demise of Hudson's Bay, again, these are partial narratives which rely on blaming external factors and not the internal mismanagement of the company. Because the real reason for Hudson's Bay's failure is a lack of clear strategy. Now, businesses adapt to different strategies to be successful within the market and stick to one or more of these strategies. Let us understand some of these strategies in a little more detail with one common example to understand it better. Let's introduce Sam, who needs to make some purchases. We'll walk through 4 different business strategies and why Sam would choose each brand based on how these companies apply these strategies. First, Sam needs to buy groceries and household items. Now he's price conscious and wants the best deal possible without worrying too much about premium features. So where does Sam go? Sam goes to Walmart because Walmart follows a cost leadership strategy. It focuses on offering the lowest prices in the market. Now Sam wants to buy a new phone. He's not just looking for a cheap device. He wants something cool, premium, and packed with unique features. Where does Sam go? Sam goes to Apple because Apple uses a differentiation strategy. It creates products that stand out for their design, ecosystem integration, and brand image. Sam is willing to pay more because he sees a unique value. Okay, now that Sam has a new phone, he wants to listen to some good songs. All he cares about is the best music experience. Sam downloads Spotify because Spotify follows a focus strategy. It concentrates on doing just one thing extremely well, providing an affordable, seamless music experience anywhere in the world. Now lastly, Sam wants to buy a good mixer blender. Now he's already at home and wants to buy it online and not pay a higher price at the same time. Walmart again. but this time for a different reason. You see, Walmart uses an omni-channel marketing strategy. It seamlessly integrates its online and offline channels, allowing customers to switch between digital shopping and physical shopping effortlessly without worrying about price or quality. Awesome. Sam had a good day. But now let's try to take a step back and understand. By any of these 4 strategies that we highlighted, would Sam have chosen Hudson's Bay over any of these stores? Let's find out. Now, when Sam wants lowest prices for household items, he goes to Walmart. But would Sam go to Hudson's Bay? Probably not. Because Hudson's Bay was never known for its low prices or any aggressive discounts, and Sam, being price conscious for household items, would have probably skipped Hudson's Bay. When Sam wants a unique premium experience, he buys Apple products or Levi's jeans or a Dior perfume. Now, would Sam see Hudson's Bay as a differentiated brand that would sell these products? Again, not really. Because Hudson's Bay carries the same brands that you can find at many other departmental stores or online. And Hudson's Bay doesn't have any exclusive products or a premium experience. Sam wouldn't have gone to Hudson's Bay for something special. Because for iPhones, he would just go to Apple Store or Best Buy, which actually specializes in electronics. For Levi's jeans, he could simply go to the Levi's brand outlet. And for perfumes, he would rather go to a place like Sephora, which has far more choices. Now, when Sam wanted the best music experience, he chose Spotify. Okay, but does Hudson's Bay have any product or any category it focuses on which has extremely better value than its competitors? Again, not really. Hudson's Bay sold everything from apparel to cosmetics to furniture, but it lacked any focus or specialization on any one product or any one category. Sam wouldn't think of Hudson's Bay as a go-to place for any particular product, and that's again a big failure. Lastly, even when Sam wanted to shop something online, he would rather choose the Walmart app or Amazon. And not because there was no Hudson's Bay store online. In fact, after the pandemic, the Hudson's Bay company doubled down on their efforts to improve their online experience. But what did the management of Hudson's Bay do? They named their Hudson's Bay online store as a separate entity, thebay.com. Their online store was not only separated from its retail brand name, but this store diverted towards a completely different strategy. They diverted towards a marketplace model where customers can directly buy from sellers, and the Bay acted as a connecting platform. In a world where everyone is moving towards omni-channel marketing, which is the same buying experience offline and online, a Hudson's Bay customer would have different offerings in the retail store and a completely different set of products and offerings online. So again, Sam wouldn't have found Hudson's Bay's online experience smooth or compelling enough to choose it over their competitors. So friends, what is our big takeaway here? Hudson's Bay was not the cheapest. Hudson's Bay did not have any unique differentiation. Hudson's Bay had no focus. It sold everything: apparel, cosmetics, and lastly, Hudson's Bay failed at the omni-channel execution. So for Sam and shoppers like him, Hudson's Bay simply did not stand out in any meaningful way. While the competitors Walmart, Amazon, and Best Buy anchored themselves around clear customer value propositions, Hudson's Bay was stuck in the middle, trying to be everything to everyone, but ending up resonating with no one. But now you might argue, but Sid, if Hudson's Bay did not have a clear strategy, can you give me at least one example of a company that did? And yes, I can. Let's take an example of JCPenney from USA. JCPenney sells apparel for men, women, and kids, home goods and appliances, as well as beauty products and cosmetics. So it is exactly the same offerings as Hudson's Bay. So why is JCPenney still relevant in the USA while Hudson's Bay lost its footing in Canada? Here are my few takeaways. First, private labels. While Hudson's Bay focused only on third-party brands, JCPenney continuously promotes its own brands, which give them good margins and a consistent quality of products and brand loyalty to the consumers. Second, aggressive pricing and promotions. While Hudson's Bay's pricing was always on a slightly premium side, JCPenney repositioned itself around budget-conscious families who still wanted quality shopping experiences without breaking their bank. Third, their omni-channel strategy. Now, just like Hudson's Bay, JCPenney made significant investment into their online offering right after the pandemic. But they did not separate their online offerings from offline. Rather, they chose an omni-channel approach where the customer can choose the same products online or offline without any differentiation or hassle. Fourth and last, partnerships. While Hudson's Bay did not have any significant partnerships that can boost their retail offerings and get any extra brand loyalty, JCPenney partnered with Sephora, which gave them a clear high demand differentiator in beauty retail, because Sephora aced in beauty retail, drawing young customers into their stores. So unlike Hudson's Bay, JCPenney had a stronghold over its deliverables and therefore still stands out as a strong and reliable departmental store in the North American market. Now that such a lack of strategy is evident to us, it brings us to another equally important question. Was this really about Hudson's Bay failing to adapt and misalign strategies of the management? Or was it a cold, calculated move to destroy the legacy of Hudson's Bay? Now, Hudson's Bay Company was acquired by Richard Baker in 2008 for $1.1 billion. Now, Richard Baker is an American billionaire and built his career managing his father, Robert Baker's real estate company, National Realty and Development Corporation. So briefly speaking, Richard Baker had spent his entire life making real estate deals and was never particularly interested in the retail business. But then to us business students, that sounds crazy, right? It does not make any logic for someone to buy an entire retail chain at such an inflated price of $1.1 billion for a company that was already struggling to get its customers. I mean, at the end of the day, Richard Baker makes real estate deals and has absolutely no knowledge of any retail business. But friends, if you thought this was just a poor decision making skill by this gentleman, you might be wrong. Okay friends, let us again take a step back and try to understand. What resource does a 355-year-old legacy retail chain have that might be of high interest to Mr. Richard Baker? You guessed it right. It's not the clothes. It's not the furniture, but the value of the real estate where Hudson's Bay megastores are located. Richard Baker simply purchased the Canadian retail chain for its more than 80 prime locations across the biggest cities of Canada like Toronto, Montreal, Vancouver, and the rest of the country. And once he purchased these stores, instead of developing business strategies that would get more customer engagement, Mr. Richard Baker simply sold some of the prime properties or leased them and rather used these short-term gains to fund his other real estate projects. And hence, as Hudson's Bay fades away from Canadian retail landscape, its story leaves behind more than just nostalgia. It leaves powerful lessons for anyone studying leadership and competitive advantage, and reflect on how one decision to sell Hudson's Bay back in 2008 to the American real estate tycoon proved to be the end of its legacy. That brings us to the most important part of this case study, and that is the business lessons that we can learn from the story of Hudson's Bay. First, a brand without strategy is a brand without direction. Hudson's Bay failed to choose a clear market positioning. It wasn't cheap, premium, focused, or convenient. Friends, strategy isn't optional, it's survival. Second, know your customer or lose them. The retail landscape shifted. Customer wanted digital convenience, consistent pricing, and focused experiences. Hudson's Bay didn't keep up. JCPenney did. Third, omnichannel is not optional, it's foundational. Friends, we are in 2025, and steps like separating Hudson's Bay's online from its in-store brand created confusion for customers and broke consistency. That's all from my side, friends. I hope you liked this case study. If you did, please like the video, share it with your friends, and for more awesome business content, please subscribe to The Better Company. Thank you.